Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in and sit on down because today we're talking about pets eating their owners. I don't know why we're necessarily doing this. It's just been kind of a topic here at Meat Studios. I just thought it's been fascinating. So I thought, why not make a video and indulge you on some of the conversations that we've been having here at the studios. And an important question to ask early on is, why would a pet eat one of its owners, right? Well, the answer is simple. They're animals. Typically, no matter how much of a bond you have with your pet, when they get hungry, they will revert back to their animal instincts and eat their owners to survive. I've heard this a lot too with like cats. Cats are very notorious for as soon as you're dead, they're gonna eat you immediately. If anything, don't they say that cats are always wanting to eat you, but they're like too big or something? I think, hold on a second. Allison will know this. Hey, Allison.
Hey.
You know how cats will eat their owners after they're dead, just like immediately? Is it also the thing where don't cats also want to kill and eat their owners already when they're alive?
No, they also don't always eat their owner when they're die. They'll wait till they're hungry.
That kind of throws a wrench in what I just said. Okay. Well, no. All right. Well, I'm glad I asked you because the people would have been mad that I'm wrong.
Okay.
All right. Fine. All right. Well, anyways.
Listen up, maggots! I need you to join up in World of Tanks Blitz. World of Tanks Blitz is a cross-platform, team-based MMO full of fierce tank combat. With over 180 million downloads worldwide, over 30 maps, and 11 fun game modes, World of Tanks Blitz blows other games out of the water. And best of all, it's free to play. But there's more! For a limited time, World of Tanks Blitz is collaborating with deadmau5. Until December 26th, deadmau5 is throwing an epic holiday dance party full of music and prizes inside of the game. To join in on the fun, all you gotta do is download the game, grab a tank, and hop into 5 battles. There's a ton of cool drops for the event, including Mouse Tank, camo sets, exclusive masks, and 2 deadmau5 quests. Plus, from now until December 26th, you can enter bonus code DEAD5BLITZ for extra goodies. Consider this an early Christmas present on me. Give your holiday season a remix this year. Scan the QR code on screen or click the link in bio. Download and play World of Tank Blitz featuring deadmau5 now for free. Available on iOS, Mac, Android, Windows 10, Steam, and Switch. Thank you so much to World of Tanks Blitz for sponsoring this video, and back to the video.
It is very common for dogs to be gentle and protective around newly deceased people. Not my dogs, dude. Tugboat. He would immediately eat me. There wouldn't be a slight hesitation. First responders have stated, quote, their dogs would leave them alone, hover near them, or even try to protect them. There are exceptions to this rule, like an incident that took place in 1997, when a man in his 30s took his own life in his house. The police entered the scene to find a friendly German Shepherd minding his own business. Upon bringing the dog along with him, the dog began to vomit his owner's skin, hair, and blood, only 45 minutes after he passed. Dude, you better believe that dead guy would have been finger licking good, dude. Big old bucket of chicken. Man, how brutal is that? You come across that crime scene and all of a sudden you start seeing the dog just being like, ugh. You know what I mean? One of those. Ugh. What's wrong, buddy? And then just like a ear falls out of his mouth. Brutal. Yeah, like fingers, toes, something like that. A toe would be devious. A devious toe? No way. It is common for dogs to lick a deceased owner in order to wake them up. When the attempt fails, they often panic. The licking can soon turn to biting to the point of drawing blood. I want you to wake up, dude. Damn.
That'd be my dogs, Teddy and Max.
Yeah, your dogs.
I would be devoured.
They have eaten people before. Your dog looks like a human being. According to Dr. Carolyn Rondo from the UCL Institute of Archaeology, this could trigger an instinctive behavior, resulting in more wounding and eventually consumption of human tissue. And it is common for feeding to start at the face and neck before moving to the chest, and after that, the upper and lower extremities are broken up and consumed. Start with a nice face, a nice neck, maybe some titties, soft tissue, easy to bite into. Like I said, finger licking good.
I watched a documentary where hyenas ate this elephant's hole first because his skin was too thick.
I would do the exact same, dude. I will always claim ass before I claim anything else. And in some cases, more aggressive dogs may go after their owner's body to show dominance. In a situation where they sense a weakness, there's a hierarchical Hierarchical.
Hierarchical.
In a situation where there's sense of weakness, there's a hierarchical shift that may provoke an attack. And of course, if animals were confined without an owner for long enough, they are left with no choice but to eat them to stay alive.
See, that makes sense. If I was dead for like a day.
Dude, if I was dead and my dog was trapped, I'd be like, get at me, dude. Survive while you can. Because at some point, someone's going to be like, what the... Hopefully, something. Yeah, my ass. People would be like, man, I haven't heard from him. Good. With all this in mind, let's talk about some of the crazy incidents of pets eating their owners. It's a positive video for the day. Oh my God. Starting off with rodent creates a nest out of human remains. Nice title. There are a few recorded cases of rodents, namely hamsters, being especially gruesome when faced with the dead body of their owners. Would not expect that of a hamster. If I'm being honest, or should they be in cages? Do people let their hamsters roam free?
I at least let my hamster roam free.
You're the smelly kid, dude. You're definitely the fucking smelly kid in school. He smells like a ferret. In one case, a 43-year-old woman had passed away while her golden hamster was out of its cage. When the police entered the home, they found that the woman's face had several tissue defects. In a nearby drawer, the hamster had created a makeshift nest using hair, skin, and muscle fragments. Oh, I tell you what, though, that is fucking awesome. Well, you don't need this anymore, do you, Mother? Mother, do you need your cheekbones anymore? Your teeth?
You know what would have been sick if they opened the drawer and it was just her face.
Oh, yeah, they open the drawer and it's just her face like this. Wasn't that fucking brutal? The hamster had also been gnawing on the skull of the victim in order to grind its front teeth down to acquire calcium. Easily accessible parts of the woman, like the face and arms, were being devoured over time. We cannot show this picture. And in another case of rodents, a woman in her late 70s was found dead in her home from pneumonia. She lived alone with her golden hamster. What the fuck is up with golden hamsters, dude? She lived alone with her golden hamster, which we're quickly finding out are just little demons, who now had to fend for itself. The hamster began slowly eating the woman's body, and when police arrived, she was found with both hands amputated and missing a large amount of muscle and soft tissue. That is brutal. When it comes to post-mortem injuries, it is common for homeless people to be victims of rodents. And in one reported instance, a 41-year-old homeless man's body was found injured within an hour of his reported death. Well, dude, that's also street rats. Street rats are basically, I mean, like, I would consider them to almost be humans with just how effectively, like, heinous and terrible they are. They're also huge. If this was in New York, have you seen those rats that are like the size of a cat? I don't think I could take down a regular rodent like that.
So you couldn't handle 12 if they cornered you?
No. I honestly, I'm seriously wondering if I was at my house and I was like, I fell down and I can't get up, like life alert button, help me. And I had like, let's say I just, for some reason I had 12 hamsters. Do I think I could overpower 12 hamsters? I mean, imagine one of them bites your ankle, and then bite your neck, It's gonna turn to one of those situations. I could see myself easily folding to 12 hamsters.
I had a very evil hamster. He would always bite me when I tried to get him. And then I got a nice hamster, but then he died of heat exhaustion. And then I sent him down the slide as a final goodbye. And the evil one survived for another 5 years. Mm-hmm.
How about we move on to bugs and reptiles? Vogel, a 30-year-old German man, died after his pet black widow spider named Bettina bit him. Dude, why the fuck do people need to have bugs as pets? I know there's gonna be some weird ass people being like, my spider would never do that to me. Or my horde of grasshoppers in my closet. As we're gonna have, so we definitely have some bug fans, dude.
My nephew's a bug fan. He's got spiders and...
He has pet spiders? Cut that out. Cut it out.
Mantises.
No reason, dude. It's like Buffalo Bill with all those moths in his house, dude. And all of a sudden he's gonna be like, oh, puts the lotion on the skin. The man was known to be reclusive as well as an avid collector of insects and reptiles. And watch out. Like I said, it got nipped that in the bud quick. According to spider experts, Kogel was in possession of creatures that should never be allowed in a private home. That's something you like to hear. It was discovered that the man owned a boa constrictor. Oh God, I could never. If I went into somebody's house and had a boa constrictor, I would Sudoku myself. And then the snake would eat me, and then I would actually be in hell. A boa constrictor, poisonous frogs, why? And 200 spiders! Dude, 200! Some of which are described as, quote, the equivalent of a pit bull in the animal. Some of which were described as the equivalent of a pit bull in the animal world. What does that mean? Are they saying that one individual spider is as dangerous as a pit bull?
Vicious, aggressive.
It's as aggressive as a 90-pound pit bull. It's like on my face. After 1 to 2 weeks, the police had entered his apartment after receiving reports from his neighbors about a terrible smell. I always wondered that one time when I was younger, my neighbor, I think I was too young to comprehend it, but I was like, what is that smell from his house or whatever? I thought that he moved. I think he died in his house. Oh, and I complained to my parents and they're like, oh, it's probably whatever. Leave him alone. And then, yeah, it turned out he died. But I don't know if it was his body or not. Or it could have been sewage, Nick. I'm not sure. It was probably his dead body. According to the police spokesperson, it was like a horror movie. His corpse was over the sofa. What they found was Vogel on the sofa, completely covered in spider webs that were coming out of every orifice on his body.
So he's basically Frodo and Sheila's lair.
Also his butthole. I said every orifice. We're coming out of every orifice in his body. They leaned up his ass. They're like, oh my word. It was determined that Vogel was bitten by a black widow spider, leading to his death. Pieces of him were ripped off by reptiles, some stuck hanging from tarantula webs. How do you even approach a f***ing crime scene like that? If you go inside and you see like a boa constrictor has obviously eaten part of his body, there's like poisonous frogs walking around, you not light a match and just let the place burn at that point? Or how about we talk about the Oregon farmer who was eaten by his own pigs? Pigs are scary, dude. In 2012, 69-year-old Terry Vance Gardner went to feed his pigs, but never returned. Several hours later, a family member went looking for him and found him dead in pig stalls. All that remained was his scattered body parts and loose pair of dentures. Due to the state of his body, it was determined that the several pigs he owned had eaten him. It was noted that Gardner's pigs were much larger than average U.S. pigs, weighing in at 700 pounds apiece. Those are giant pigs. There were suspicions that one of the pigs had intentionally knocked over and killed Terry, intentionally due to the prior event where the pigs had bitten him. So wait, they're saying that this is like straight Animal Farm? The pigs caused a coup? They're like, look at each other like... A district attorney, however, states that a heart attack or other medical emergency was likely the cause of the man's death. Due to the state of Gardner's remains, there was no way to tell what actually caused his death. What do you think, Nick? Do you think pig conspiracy or do you think heart attack?
I think it was pig.
You
I think the wife was like, "Is that pig? Is it?
It's him! It's that pig that killed! How dare you!" Or we talk about a man who was eaten by 3 dogs. In 2020, the Philadelphia Police Department entered the house of a 67-year-old man who had been missing and unresponsive for days. We're already starting to see a pattern. If you're past the age of 60, you need to stop owning all these animals. You need to just, none of that. At a certain age, they're just like, oh, you had your time with them, you're done. The man owned 3 large Cane Corso Bull Mastiff mixed dogs, 2 of which were not even a year old. He just had these giant dogs. According to the brother-in-law, the dogs were not known to be aggressive. Oh yeah? According to the victim's brother-in-law, quote, "We looked at the side window and we see him lying in the bed and his face was all pinkish. It had been reported that the house was ransacked by the dogs in an attempt to find food. As a last act of desperation, they began feeding on the owner's body." Also, are they trying to say too that they ate his face and it was like this the muscle fiber of his face? Brutal, dude. At the same time, like we said though before, if they were my puppers, feed away. Or in 2006, a 54-year-old woman from New York was eaten whole by her 2 pet dogs. Not even just the face, her entire body. That's fun. The neighbor of the victim had alerted the police after entering the home to find human bones on the floor. Oh, these photos, Nick. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can we show these?
I mean, it's not gory.
Okay, here's the pictures. What they found was a house filled with animal feces, empty bags of dog food, and scattered bone shards. There was a mass of human hair, dentures, and various clothing near the remains. Much like coyotes or wolves, dogs will scatter the broken up remains over a large area. Due to the eviscerated state of her remains, it was difficult to piece together her information. The labeled dentures, however, allowed a link to her medical records, revealing her age and proof that she was a petite woman. I like how they sit there and they're just like, they're piecing together like, oh my God, she's a petite woman. She never stood a chance. According to her neighbors, it was suspected that she died of a drug overdose. Yeah, I like how their neighbors are just like, she was a nut, probably died of a drug overdose, and reporters are like, okay, we're just gonna run with that. However, the dogs were found completely healthy, with no traces of drugs found in their system. It seemed that approximately 1 month had gone by after the woman died, leaving the Chow and Labrador mix confined to a small space in the house. Images taken revealed that there were large empty bags of dog food that were torn open on the floor. There was no water source visible, meaning the dogs likely were forced to drink out of the toilet. Although they were trapped for a long time, there was no odor or decomposition stains surrounding the house, suggesting that the consumption of the human body occurred quickly after death.
So question, what happens with these dogs? Do they get put down?
You would assume they have to put them down. I would assume. If someone gets murdered in your house or dies in your house, don't you have to report it when you sell the house? So that'd have to be the same thing with when you adopt them. So these dogs, they're adorable. Like, oh my God, they are cute. They ate their last owner whole to where there was no smell. In 2019, a 57-year-old Freddie Mac from Venice, Texas, was eaten alive by 18 mixed breed dogs. It's kind of racist to say mixed breed, doesn't it? I don't know why. It feels a bit racy. 18 mixed breed dogs, not purebreds, catch the drift. When police arrived at his home, his dogs were in an aggressive state, and a police drone had to be used at some points because of how unruly the dogs were to the police. After days of searching, the police were unable to locate Freddie until they came across animal feces in a nearby field, containing traces of human hair, clothing, and bone fragments. DNA testing later confirmed that these remains belonged to Freddie Mac. And according to the deputy Aaron Pitts, quote, "Never have we ever, or anyone we've spoken to, heard of an entire human being being consumed." Well, should have got your happy ass up to New York. It happens all the time. Another officer stated, quote, "Our initial reaction was kind of a disbelief because there was just simply nothing left. 2 of the dogs were killed by the others, and 13 of them had to be put down for their aggressive behavior. Out of the 18 dogs, only 3 were friendly enough to be put up for adoption." So maybe they do put them up for adoption. Well, there you go.
How do you sell those dogs?
Maybe the 3 puppers that did survive and that were kind, maybe they didn't indulge. Like, oh, we got pedigree right here, a lot of it. Oh, I don't care. Or we can talk about cats eating their owners, right? Because similar to dogs, cats have also been known to eat the dead remains of humans. In one case, a man in his early 30s took his own life after overdosing on prescription medication. The man owned 10 cats who slowly feasted on his face and body right down to the bone. This is so much more weird when it's cats. Dogs, it's like, watching a dog eat dog food, you're just like, you just know you're like, terrible. Cats are very delicate. So like thinking of like a cat like slowly chewing on a face, I don't know why that's so much more worse to me. Tiny mouths, but I think it's just how meticulous, how long it would take. So for it to go all the way down to the bone, you're like, you know how long the guy had to have sit there? You know what I mean? That'd be one thing where I was like, dude, you can eat my body, leave my face alone. You know what I mean? Have my arms, have it my fat ass and my legs, leave my face and my, can I have an open casket funeral, please? Days later, he was found with parts of his body completely defleshed. According to a study on post-mortem injuries, there were injuries present on the head, neck, right upper arm, and the soft tissues including the tongue, larynx, upper half of the esophagus, thyroid gland, neck, and right upper limb musculature were missing. Man, dude, the tongue, they went into his mouth and gonna start eating the tongue. In a horrific turn of events, the drugs inside the man's system spread to every single cat that feasted on his remains. And in the end, all 10 cats were dead from lethal intake of drugs. That must be testament to how much drugs were in his system. We talked about reptiles a little bit. Let's talk about lizards. Because in 2002, 42-year-old Ronald Huff was killed and eaten by 7 of his 6-foot monitor lizards. It's 7 of them. Where do you keep them? Where do you keep 7 6-foot long lizards, bro? His neighbor and his friend Jeff Wildonger, great name, stated that Ronald often let his monitor lizards roam free in his apartment, keeping his apartment as hot as possible to accommodate them. This is a f***ing Junji Ito horror manga. Like a person being like, God, the hallway was so hot, and there's like humidity coming from this guy's door, like your neighbor's door. You like knock on the door, it opens it. Hello. Huff's past boss admitted that he was once shown bite marks inflicted on him by his pet lizard. So he's even going to work. He works at Walmart, and he's just like, check it out, dude. Gabriel is just so bitey this week, seriously. Which is a big deal since monitor lizards carry bacteria in their mouths that can lead to blood infections if bitten. How convenient. It appeared that after being bitten a week or so prior, he ended up dying from a staph infection that likely led to organ failure. After the smell from the apartment reached Jeff's bathroom next door, he alerted the police, who promptly entered the apartment. Ronald's corpse, propped up by the front door, was being devoured by his 7 lizards, who were covered in Ronald's blood. It's almost like setting up that scene almost as if he was like trying to escape or something. Passed out and like went unconscious. Oh my God, these lizards too. Jeff, who watched the scene unfold, stated that, quote, his cheeks had been eaten off and his molars were where his ears should be. They had eaten his face, eaten his hands, and they actually had eaten into his abdomen and had eaten some of his internal organs. Strangely enough, his neighbor spent the next night creating an illustration of what he had witnessed. What? You know what's up too, what I hate about this is that he makes the lizard in the front bottom right looks pretty cute. Like he's just like, I don't know, I was hungry. You know what I mean? Also, he really got the lynx tapestry up on his wall. He's like, but he did have a really cool like wild jungle cat tapestry on the wall. Just had to put that out there. This is a haunting photo. This is crazy. While the lizards were transferred to the zoos, one was ultimately euthanized due to being incredibly aggressive. Often running towards people with his mouth open. Good God. It also shows with this drawing how that imagery was just seared into his head. Like one of those things, you know, it's like, oh, that night was on repeat. I bet it was exactly the same for this guy. But if that isn't crazy enough, why don't we talk about a guy eaten by his adopted bear, right? Can we get cute with it? Can we get cute, please, real quick? In 2014, 41-year-old Russian hunter Sergei Grolgov had found 2 brown bear cubs in the forest. He decided to adopt one and give the other to a baiting station, which is a place where live predators are used to train hunting dogs. For 4 years, he kept the bear in a cage in his garden, and there were times that the bear attacked the hunter. There was times, right? I mean, he's in the wild. What happens? And I will say the cage that he had is haunting. This is where my bear lives. He used to be completely roaming free. Now he lives in a tiny cage. He loves me though. He's a big love bug. His name, Dimitri. Despite his peers constantly advising him to get rid of it, he continued raising it. One day, the hunter had gone missing though. When his relatives came to check on him and his home, they were met with an aggressive bear roaming the property. Not a good first sign when you haven't seen somebody. The family had brought a dog along with them, which according to them, attacked the bear, giving the people the opportunity to escape to the car. Officers arrived and they were given no choice but to shoot and kill the bear due to his aggression. As they investigated the area, they found that the bear had already eaten and killed the family's dog, as well as one of the other hunters that lived on the property. Eventually, the skeletal remains of the Russian man had been found. He had been eaten down to the bone by his pet bear. The event followed another incident in Russia where a woman had her arm ripped off by a caged bear. More of the story, maybe we leave the bears in the wild. Also, I just want to say too, why do I kind of, and this is going to sound up, Nick, why was I kind of rooting for the bear there?
Because he was a prisoner.
Sergi, come on, man. He's wants out of here, you know. He's like, no, he loves me, kisses, like bites off his lips. But, you know, to keep the cuteness train rolling, let's talk about pet hippos, which I think it's pretty common knowledge that they're like one of the most dangerous animals on the planet. But they do look cute, especially when they do that their ears. 40-year-old Army Major Marius Els was bitten to death by his 1.2-ton hippo he named Humphrey. Gonna go ahead and I want to say that me saying was bitten to death feels like the wrong verbiage. He was mauled to death by his 1.2-ton hippo he named Humphrey, which is a great hippo name. Humphrey the hippo. His body was found, I think Humphrey's a better camel name though.
Because of the hump.
Well, his body was found submerged in the river where Humphrey was rescued as a baby. Yeah, literally, he's just like, I found you right here. And then like, Marius adopted the 5-month-old hippo after he became too big to take care of by his original owners. Oh, good. So it's just people pass around a hippo. That's fun. Marius claimed that, quote, Humphrey's like a son to me. He's just like a human. And another quote, there's a relationship between me and Humphrey. That's what some people don't understand. Okay, so this guy is kind of like psychotic. He's like not all the way there. Okay. He regarded the hippo as a lovable and gentle giant. But this is not the first time Humphrey had lashed out against a human. Earlier that same year, a 52-year-old man and his 7-year-old grandson spent 2 hours in a tree after being chased by Humphrey while canoeing in a river that was on Marius's property. The two tried screaming and clapping their hands, but this just enraged Humphrey. Ah! Ah! The hippo's just like, you! Get out here! Humphrey can't climb trees. If it was the bear, though, it'd be a different story. Eventually, Marius used an apple to lure Humphrey away from the tree, and the two were able to safely get away. I like that's all you needed. He's like, Humphrey. He's such a gentle creature. Humphrey also murdered calves that belonged to Marius's business partner. Full calves, how fun. He also frequently broke out of his enclosure and chased golfers around at a local golf club, which does sound like a funny early 2000s movie where a guy's like, it's my pet hippo, but this would be horrifying. Marius claimed that the sound of his voice would lure Humphrey back home. And then for Marius to then have been mauled to death by Humphrey, he didn't even eat him. He just left him in the river to drown. This is all I gotta say. I hope Humphrey was able to return to his river home. All right. I don't think the two people that didn't know that he was there and the golfers, I'm glad they're all safe. Marius, you goofed up.
He loved him. Almost in a sexual way.
You think he...
It kind of sounded like it. You just don't understand, Mari.
You never know, dude, with people that have those eccentric stuff. Like I read this, or I listened to this interview about a guy who had like a sexual relationship with a dolphin. He was like a trainer at like a zoo or something like that, or like an aquarium. He was having a sexual relationship, and he got caught and he was fired. But he wrote a book about it. In conclusion, it's a gruesome reminder that inside every cute little animal and every little pupper and little fur baby out there is it's an animal. It's survival. And in any case, animals will get any opportunity to basically, over. And it's especially, they might love you in the moment, but those hunger pains start coming in, they're going to eat whatever they can. Animals are a dangerous, dangerous thing, and they're to be taken seriously. And no matter how many weird TikToks or Instagram reels you see of how cute some of these things might be, you better be warned. These motherfuckers are real, and they're very, very dangerous. But until the next one, what a fun way to hopefully fill up your belly on some of this content. And we'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye. You took his dead body and put him on the slide.
No, he was
and pushed him?
dying. I was like, he wasn't moving. He was like very slow, and I put him down the slide. And then, he like fell. And I was like, oh, maybe I broke his back. So then I put him back in his hamster hotel. And I left, hoping he would heal. And then an hour later, my mom called. It's like, oh, the hamster died.